We are rolling.
Good morning. Welcome back to the conversation. This is Pointing Out the Obvious. This is our news and politics webcast, our daily take on what's buzzing today. I'm your host, Patrick Russell, and over there is my very opinionated producer, Veronica. Together we're here to quip and quiver through today's headlines, searching for the real, no matter how deep in the swamp we need to go. We did it, girl. TGIF to everybody out there. And some great news from the Supreme Court front, at least if you're a liberal. So Supreme Court Justice Stephen Breyer has formally announced his retirement and now giving Papa Joe, President Joe Biden, the opportunity to appoint what he has promised to be the first black woman on the Supreme Court justice bench. And I think it's fine time that we see that. We'll get to that in just a moment. Now, what I have to say is that Supreme Court Justice Stephen Breyer is doing the right thing, but he's doing it reluctantly. I've listened to this guy over the last 10 years. Now, he's an 83-year-old justice who has been serving on the Supreme Court bench for over 27 years. And so it's not the first time that pundits and reporters have asked him the question, hey, Breyer, when do you think it's about time to hang him up? Because what's going to happen if another, and now recently when Chief Justice Ginsburg passed away because she felt like she could just hang on to the very last day, and she ended up dying on the bench, and that allowed, of course, President Trump, in order to appoint yet another conservative judge onto the bench, which now provides a majority. Well, God forbid that Breyer, because of his ego or for whatever reason, because of his confidence in his own health, let's call it, he feels that he can soldier on to a point where 2024 passes. God forbid, let's say the strings of power have now swung back over to the Republican side, and dare I say, hit me over in the back of the head with a 2x4. Trump is a president. Then you're talking about Breyer then passing away and now having the opportunity for another uber conservative, not just conservative judge anymore. Now they're uber conservative judges being passed and having a super majority on the court, which would then allow, dare I say, like a fascist situation, because you're only going to have one side of government that's going to have power and is going to be wielding the judicial hammer in case there's a 50-50 split. Well, now you've got the Supreme Court always siding with the conservative end. What do you call that? If it's always one-sided other than fascism, but let's not go there. Let's first talk about the good. Okay, so he's stepping down and allowing President Joe Biden to appoint what he has promised to be the first black woman onto the Supreme Court bench. From a younger generation's perspective, Veronica, how important is it for the younger generation to see this happening? How important is it for the little girls out there in the world, in America, to see what now can happen, with making great decisions and living a good life and, living up to your goals.
Well, definitely diversity. It's always good for the country just to kind of have different perspectives. So I'm glad that's happening. And also, there has to be like an age where you're just like, okay, grandpa, you're kind of late to the game
83
already.
Years old. Yeah. And so you have to be mindful. It's not even about your health so much as what you're exposed to, susceptible to, falling down, even just one bad spill in the bathroom could really be drastic and dramatic for you. And he has to realize that.
But also the ideas, though. Let's face it, 2022 and then dealing with someone that it's like 80, almost 85 years old per se. it's like my grandpa wanting to talk to me when I'm dealing with this problems in 2022. And then my grandpa being like, 80 years old, and then wanted to kind of compare what's happening now with what's happening before. So I think at some point the age matter, and we have to understand that, it's not your time anymore, and then give the ability for someone fresh, someone new, someone with new ideas, hopefully good ideas, to step into the table and, do something.
I agree with everything you just said, because it's absolutely true. You're talking about fresh arguments, fresh life stories, even the fresh jokes. Grandpa, we heard that one before, Grandpa Breyer. And so all of those elements lead to persuasive power, right? I think, not to say that Breyer has lost his persuasive power, but I think the power of fresh thinking can now push us forward. And now with the conservative bench really dominating the Supreme Court, and traditional values always being about slowing things down, right? Not taking a step forward, but just sticking with what you here, right? That's sort of the core of, traditional values and whatnot.
But also it's gonna show that, I guess, the Black community will be also happy to know that
Absolutely.
people are taking power in high positions, and especially little girls are gonna be able to be more confident with like those type of jobs moving forward.
Absolutely. You've got now abortion, gay rights, gender rights, gun rights.
Yeah.
Affirmative action is now back on the table again.
Yeah.
It's this merry-go-round on decisions that don't quite end the conversation. That's really what we're looking at again, rolling back everything that we've, as far as a progressive movement is concerned, everything that we've been working for the last 30, 40, 50 years, dare I say, is now being rolled back again. Moderate steps are important, but they got to be steps forward. And the thing is that right now, what conservatives want to bring back is everything from yesteryear. They just want to roll back and take steps backwards. And in 2022, like you just said, that doesn't reconcile with the society and the culture that we are now. We've moved on. Our laws and our perspective on the laws need to move on.
Our needs in society this times. I mean, it's more than having a grandpa in power.
Final note, thank you, Justice Breyer, for doing the right thing and not allowing your ego. Or hubris to get in the way of you allowing everybody now to hopefully take one big step forward for the country. Guys, there's no right answer, there's no wrong answer, but there definitely is your opinion. Please don't just subscribe to this channel, even though we will be doing this back and forth on a daily basis. But lend your voice to the show. It'll make it a whole lot more fun. Guys, remember, it doesn't matter if you lean to the right. It doesn't matter if you lean to the left. As long as you're treating the person in front of you kindly, you just made the world a better place. TGIF, everybody.